Hello, welcome to another IELTS video. Today we're looking at prepositions and how to use them properly in our Task 1 and Task 2 responses. If you find this video helpful, please visit my blog at IELTS.com. Today you will see two responses. You'll see a Task 1 and a Task 2, and both of these are suggested answers for an exam seen in Saudi Arabia on December 1st, 2012. Now, I will share a sample question before we get started, just to demonstrate how, oops, hope you didn't see that, I think I just gave away the answer, but the flight was delayed on account of inclement weather. And what you need to do is choose the correct preposition that would couple with the word account, and the answer here would be on. So the flight was delayed on account of inclement weather. So as we go through the lesson today, please think about taking notes because, as you know, often prepositions are coupled with specific words, and it's very important that we commit these couplings to memory so that they come up naturally when we go to engage our writing and when we go to engage the speaking exam as well. Okay, so now let's get started. We will read Task 1, and even for those of you out there that are taking the academic exam, please be patient. This lesson will still be helpful to you, and following this letter we're going to look at an essay, so stick around to the end of the video. The question reads, your friend visited your home recently. They forgot something. Write a letter to your friend about this situation. In your letter, include what your friend forgot, where the item is now, a proposed arrangement to return the item. Okay, and our suggested response. So, dear Jose, that's given to us in the essay question. Dear Jose, I'm writing on two reasons. Okay, and we write for something. So we're writing for two reasons. Firstly, my wife and I would like to thank you for your visit last night. You and Sharon are great company. Secondly, I wanted to let you know that you forgot your laptop when you left. Allow me to elaborate. I imagine that upon arriving home, you realized it was missing. But, actually, excuse me, I'm just going to put this on one page. Okay, that you realized it was missing, but in the event you did not, I wanted to write this letter to tell you. And we do not say on the event, we do not say about the event, not in this case anyways. The correct answer would be in the event, which is like saying in case. In case you did not know, I wanted to write to you. So in the event you did not, I wanted to write this letter to tell you. The laptop is still sitting where you left it, between on the coffee table, around our living room. Okay, of course the first one is on the coffee table, and the second one is in our living room. The coffee table wouldn't be around the living room. That wouldn't make sense. My wife and I have appreciated having your library of music to tap into. However, I should point out that I could not track down the computer's carrying case. So, I hope this is around your things. And the correct answer here would be among. Now, for those of you taking the general exam. Please note the way that I've tried to be creative in the answer, so I've kind of elaborated a bit. I've mentioned that we've tracked down this laptop, there's still something else missing. So this just kind of, it allows me to demonstrate my language skills to the examiner. It also helps to kind of beef up the letter, because this question in particular is quite simple, so you could respond to it, you know, in 75 words, but as you know, you have to write 150 words or more, so it's good to kind of elaborate the story a little bit and show off your abilities in English. Okay, I suppose we will have to arrange a time to meet. I am free any day this week aside from Sunday. What day and time suit you? We could either drive it your direction, or you could come our way to pick it up. Your friend, Ryan. Okay, the end of the letter. Now let's move on to our essay. The essay question reads, many high school students take part-time jobs. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this? Okay, very straightforward answer. So it's asking us for our opinion, but because we're going to be sharing both advantages and disadvantages, like pros and cons, we're going to deliver this in a discussion essay format. Now, the essay itself reads, at, among, to, many cultures, adolescents are encouraged to work part-time. And the correct answer here would be among. Now, I know some of you might think that in certain circumstances we might say to many cultures, but it wouldn't work in this sentence. We could say something like, to many cultures, the idea of adolescents working part-time is crazy. I can't think of a better word. So to many cultures, the idea of, do you see the way that it's structured a little bit differently there? We couldn't say here, to many cultures, adolescents are encouraged to work part-time. The better answer would be among. Among many cultures, adolescents are encouraged to work part-time. Okay, but this is a phenomenon that is not universally encouraged, as many people feel such an arrangement has drawbacks. Okay, so I'm kind of showing both sides of the argument here, and please note that at no time so far has the writer shared an opinion. I haven't told you in this writing exactly what I think about this. I'm just sort of saying that, you know, many cultures around the world are different. Some people believe this, others believe that. This essay will look at the advantages and disadvantages associated among, to, with working high school students. And associated often couples with. So that would be the correct answer here. I know many of you were thinking to. Students often use to when they shouldn't, and here this is one of those circumstances. So associated with working high school students. On the one hand, students who work part-time gain business exposure and learn to handle money. For example, companies like McDonald's often hire high school students to work their front cash registers. For these young adults, they are learning both how to deal among below with people in a professional way and how to transact money. Okay, now while you're figuring out that answer, transact money works, but I'm going to change this to perform transactions. I just think it would sound a little bit more academic. Okay, now, do you deal among things? You can, not in this instance though. Deal below, no, that doesn't make sense. Deal with. Deal with people in a professional way and how to perform transactions. I'm sorry to keep changing, but I'm actually going to stick in monetary transactions. Okay. As these sorts of hands-on abilities are not taught in schools, it is clear that several advantages derive from towards students working part-time. Okay, here we have derive. Derive is almost always coupled with from. We can't say derive to, that doesn't make sense. Derive towards. Derive is a verb, it sort of means to come from, which is also, when we say come from, it's a verb coupled with from. So derive from, to come from students working part-time. Okay, the advantages are coming as a result of this. All right, here we go. However, on the other hand, students who choose to work during their high school years spend time away from their studies and may be exposed to dangerous situations. For instance, I remember as a student once working in a restaurant in an underdeveloped part of my city. Okay, so by doesn't make sense at all. Within, it makes sense in a way, but just people typically wouldn't couple this with working. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm working within a restaurant. I'm saying I'm working in a restaurant. I might say I'm working within a restaurant chain, and I can't explain exactly why that is. But it's not something that you would couple with something like a restaurant, or I'm working within a company. I mean you could say that, but it's not what people normally say. So to just try to explain it further, so working within, we might say that we're working within a university that does this and this and this. It's sometimes a phrase that's used, if you're going to describe a place where you're working, and then you're going to kind of continue the sentence on and describe further. So I'm working within a firm that is responsible for X, Y, and Z. So in these cases, people would probably lean towards using within. But if I'm just saying, a restaurant, it's not what would normally be chosen. So I'm working in a restaurant in an underdeveloped part of my city. The clientele often had serious personal problems, such as drug and alcohol addiction. To make matters worse, I worked so many weekly hours at this restaurant that my school grades started to suffer. As this experience shows, there are several disadvantages that can befall working students. Okay, and I hope as we go along here you're taking notes of any words that are new. So for example, if befall is a new word, you might want to add that to your personal dictionary. Following this look, it can be concluded that part-time work among students should be engaged on by a case-by-case basis. Okay, now engaged doesn't couple with on, but a case-by-case, this is a phrase that does couple with on. So we would say engaged on a case-by-case basis. Okay? And so to describe some other ways that we could use this, we might say this is an action that should be taken on a case-by-case basis, or this is a plan. These are plans that unfold on a case-by-case basis. Okay. So long as a working arrangement does not infringe upon a student's safety or their grades, it is recommended that part-time work be pursued by, from, to all adolescent people. And this is something that couples pursued couples with by. So pursued by all adolescent people. Okay, or we could say the market was pursued by such and such a company. Okay, so I hope that video was helpful. I really enjoy reading how many you get correct, and just helps me kind of gauge whether these tests are helpful to people and if they find them challenging. So thank you for watching. Have a wonderful evening and good luck with your studies.